The city below was nothing but a smear of neon through the rain-streaked glass. Up here on the 42nd floor of the broadcast tower, Daniel was comfortably insulated from the world. A tired man with week-old stubble and heavy headphones, he leaned into the microphone, his deep voice carrying over the midnight jazz playing softly in the background. "You're listening to the Midnight Owl, and the lines are open," Daniel purred, watching the switchboard. A single amber light blinked. He punched the button, expecting a lonely trucker or an insomniac. Instead, a flat, metallic voice echoed through his headset, devoid of any discernible emotion or recognizable accent. "I'm listening, Daniel. I always am." Daniel chuckled, assuming it was a prank. "Glad to have you with us. What's on your mind?" The line hissed with static before the voice spoke again. "The scar behind your left ear. You got it climbing the old oak tree when you were 7. You never told anyone how you really fell, did you, Daniel?" A chill spider walked down Daniel's spine. His fingers hovered over the disconnect button, trembling slightly. No one knew about that day. He glanced at the heavy acoustic door of the studio, suddenly acutely aware of how isolated he was in the empty, locked building. The silence in the hallway beyond the glass felt suffocating and thick. "Who is this?" Daniel demanded, completely abandoning his smooth, practiced radio persona. The caller's breathing was slow and measured, scraping against the microphone like sandpaper. "You look extremely tired tonight," the flat voice observed coldly. "The heavy gray sweater suits you, though." Pity about the fresh coffee stain on the left cuff. Daniel stared down at his wrist in pure horror. He lunged for the security monitors mounted above the mixing desk, his heart hammering against his ribs. The grainy black and white feeds showed empty corridors and vacant lobbies. But on camera 4, covering the 7th floor hallway, the image flickered violently. A tall, motionless figure stood in the shadows, staring directly up at the lens with impossible intensity. Daniel slammed the emergency broadcast track on and ripped off his headphones. The studio suddenly felt like a cage. He needed to get to the main control room down the hall, where the heavy deadbolts could lock him in securely. He slipped out the soundproof door, sprinting down the carpeted corridor as the overhead fluorescent lights buzzed. He burst into the control room and threw his weight against the steel door, sliding the deadbolt home with a satisfying clack. He leaned against it, gasping for air in the dim blue light of the server racks. Then, the internal intercom on the desk began to ring. A harsh, electronic shrill that meant someone was calling from inside the building. Daniel stared at the blinking red light on the intercom, paralyzed by a creeping dread. He didn't answer. Slowly, agonizingly, the ringing stopped. For a moment, there was nothing but the hum of the servers. Then came the sound. Slow, heavy footsteps echoing on the tile floor outside, stopping exactly on the other side of his door. The brass doorknob rattled, twisting violently back and forth. Daniel scrambled backward, dragging a heavy metal filing cabinet across the linoleum to barricade the entrance. His breath came in ragged, desperate gasps. He pressed his back against the cold metal cabinet, waiting for the door to splinter, but the rattling ceased as suddenly as it had begun. Silence reigned for only a heartbeat before the glass viewing window shattered inward with a deafening crash. Daniel didn't wait to see what broke it. He bolted through the secondary emergency exit, plunging into the pitch-black fire stairwell. His boots pounded against the concrete steps as he descended blindly, taking the stairs 2 at a time in pure panic. He hit the basement level, stumbling into the cavernous, damp utility room. Shadows danced wildly as he fumbled for the light switch. Dead end. There was nowhere left to run. He backed into a corner among the humming electrical panels, clutching a heavy iron pipe he found on the floor. The heavy steel door creaked open with agonizing slowness. A figure stepped into the dim light, holding a portable tape recorder. The tape spun, projecting the metallic voice. "The gray sweater suits you." Daniel stared, his grip loosening on the pipe. The figure was wearing his own coat. The face was his own. A psychotic break, a hallucination, or a twisted loop of reality he had been hunting himself all night. The morning sun finally pierced the narrow basement windows, painting the dust motes in streaks of gold. Distant police sirens wailed as they approached the tower, responding to the silent alarm he had tripped. Daniel sat alone on the cold concrete floor, a tired man in a gray sweater, staring at a broken tape recorder in the quiet dawn.